Somebody in my house ripped the behind out of his jeans and didn't want them anymore, so I transformed them into that. And if you don't know who I am, I'm a Refashionista, Sheri, and I show you how to use what you have to make what you want. So grab your ripped jeans and let's get making. For this hopefully quick and easy project, all you need are a couple of pairs of damaged jeans. These should be at least a little bit too big for you, as we're going to try to use one for a top, so it has to fit around your chest area and shoulders. I do also have another pair here that are ready to blow just in case I need a third pair. And of course, you need your scissors and your sewing gear. So the first thing that I'm going to do is figure out which pair of jeans is actually the biggest in the waist area, because those are the ones I'm going to use for the top. And all I did was lay them all together with the waistbands totally evenly lined up on one side, because then I can see on the other side which ones are actually the biggest. And it's not those, it's these ones, which were my extra ones. And these are actually the thinnest denim, which is perfect because they're the thinnest and softest, so they should work perfectly for the top. So the very first thing I did was simply remove all of the tags from the jeans. I need to know if these jeans are actually going to fit over my head and around my torso like a top. So I'm going to cut out a little head hole area here and then go and try it on. It actually fits. I am shocked. It's inside out, of course, but I think I want to turn these around and see if maybe the bum area is going to fit better, because I have a generous chest and this is a little bit snug here. The waistband is okay. It's just this part here that I need some more room. But other than that, it actually worked. I did end up chopping out a larger, more comfortable neckline, but the sleeves, which are the legs of the jeans, are too long for me. So I grabbed a loose-fitting sweatshirt, folded it in half, and I'm just going to place it with the neckline of my jeans. That's a sentence you didn't think you were going to hear today, with the neckline of my jeans lined up with the neckline of the sweatshirt. And then I'm just going to mark where the sleeves are, and plus, a couple of centimeters for seam allowance, and then chop on through. Because these jeans had pretty big pockets, because they are men's jeans, so of course they have bigger pockets than women's jeans, I did go ahead and stitch the front pockets closed, and then I chopped off the excess pocket fabric just because it was pretty bulky in the front of the hopefully soon-to-be top. Because there was so much excess fabric in my underarm area and along the bottom of the sleeves, I decided to remove some of the bulkiness from one of the jean legs, and I figured that just below the pocket is where my armpit area starts, so that's where I started. And on one leg, I just went all the way down and I took off about 2 to 3 centimeters, and now I'm going to do the same on the other side and try it on again and see how it works. If I need to do more, I will simply remove some more. Because I want to use some of the leftover scraps from my other pairs of jeans to finish off the neckline and the sleeve hems, I'm going to pause on finishing the top right now. If you only want to make the top, I will list down in the timestamps below where the top tutorial resumes. But for now, grab your other jeans and let's make the tiers for this denim dress. To start creating your tiers, all you're going to do is chop the legs off of your remaining pairs of jeans. Because we have 4 legs and each leg has 2 layers of denim, I'm hoping we'll be able to make at least 4 tiers. First, you're going to chop off the bottom hems from each denim leg. Then you're going to chop out the bulky side seams. And then you're going to grab your bag full of chopped hems and side seams and pop them in there so you can make some awesome denim hem accessories in the future. I will link down below for that tutorial. once I had each set of 2 pieces chopped relatively evenly, I went ahead and stitched together one end of those 2 pieces to create a long piece. So I now have 4 long pieces of denim. Because this piece is the widest, I'm going to use it as my first layer. So I'm just going to stitch this opened end closed to create a tube, and then I can add it to my top. Now I have the top part and the first layer, and I'm going to flip this first layer over top of the top with the right sides facing. And because I have side seams here on each of my layers, I'm just going to use those as an easy guide on the side of my jeans here. And I'm going to pin each side to the side seams of the jeans top here. So my first tier is actually wider than my waistband here. So of course I'm going to do my favorite thing and do a bunch of little pin tucks all the way around so it all matches up evenly, and then I'm going to go stitch it together and we'll see what it looks like. It is now all stitched on, and yes, I realize the inside doesn't look great, but you know what? Perfection's the enemy of good enough, especially when you're dealing with the inside seams. Nobody's gonna see it, so don't come at me in the comments. Anyway, we flip it down, and look at that. The pin tucks worked, and of course, once it gets the other tiers here on the bottom, it's going to look absolutely adorable. This is definitely an idea that is pretty wacky in my brain, so let's continue and hope it's going to come out. So I just tried it on and I realized I don't think I need 4 tiers. So what I've done is cut up one of the tiers, and then I added an extra panel to the other 2 tiers. So now I have 3 legs on each of the remaining tiers, and now I'm going to go stitch those into tubes, figure out the measurements, and then go stitch those on. So I think you can get the general idea of what I'm going for here. Next, I'm going to sew each of these tiers onto the skirt. Of course, I'm going to sew them properly, not inside out as they are. And we're going to see how it's going to go. I'm going to attach them the exact same way as I attached the first one, just with pin tucks. And yeah, then we're going to go see what it looks like. Because this denim is super fraying, I just thought, you know what, let's use the fray, and I'm going to stitch this together here with the wrong sides facing so I can have that fraying edge on the outside of my next 2 tiers, and then it's going to be a little funky detail, we hope. Okay, so my tiers look pretty darn awesome. They'll look even cooler, I think, when I give this a wash, and that encourages even more fraying here. But for now, let's finish off the top, and then it's finally going to be done. So I think for the sleeves, I'm just going to fold them and then give them a nice clean hem. But for the neckline, as I said before, I'm going to create some bias binding out of these denim scraps that I have left from making my tiers. And to do that, it's so easy. You basically just fold in the raw edges like that, and then you can use it to bind up the raw edges of the neckline. Easy peasy. Once you stop replacing the clothes that you're just not feeling anymore, or maybe they're a bit damaged, and realize that you can use your imagination and transform them into things that you want to wear every single day, refashioning becomes so much easier. I taught myself how to sew when I was 38 because nothing ever really fit me properly off the rack. And look at me now. I have an extensive wardrobe, and I've shared literally hundreds of fab-free tutorials over on my channel. even more at refashionistasheri.com. So what is stopping you? Simply look in your closet, pull something out that you're just not feeling anymore, search through my channel, my blog, find a tutorial, and get started. I even have loads of no-sew tutorials at all. Grab a t-shirt, grab your scissors, and start transforming what you already have. It's free, so you literally have nothing to lose whatsoever, and you can make the most awesome things. I am the proof that it can be done. My brain cannot figure out patterns at all, so I just share things the easiest way that my brain has come up with to create them. And there you go. There's the benefit. So be sure to subscribe for new videos every single week. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I'll catch ya on the zigzag. For just 99 cents a month, you can help save a struggling refashionista. For just 99 cents a month, you can help sustain the much-needed work that goes on behind the scenes. Every thrift flip, every DIY, every upcycle, every free tutorial can only continue with your support. Join my Refashionista crew for only 99 cents a month, less than the cost of 2 bananas or a pack of gum, and help me continue teaching anyone who wants to learn how to use what they have to make what they want. Don't let affordable, sustainable DIY style become an endangered species. Join my Refashionista crew today.
This is Confessions of a Refashionista.